Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Ladies First. I am your host, Amber Vickers. This is episode 31. I'm super excited about this episode, although there was almost not going to be an episode. I'm going to get into that a little bit in a minute, but all I'm going to talk about today is the WNBA schedule. I meant to do it last time, either it wasn't released or I didn't have enough time. So today will probably be a short show, and I say that a lot. I say that a lot. And it ends up not being a short show, but it will be a shorter show because Jesse's going to go on after me. He has a special guest on his show today, and he's going to go on after me. But before I get started with everything, I want to hello Unwrapped Sports Network. This show is brought to you by the Unwrapped Sports Network. I appreciate you guys for dropping in on YouTube. Before I get started, I'm going to do some promos. I'm going to get through these promos. I have a mini rant I'm going to do before I talk about the WNBA schedule, and then I'm going to talk about prayers. I'm going to end the show with prayers. Whew, a lot needed this week, let me tell you. All right, let's start with these promos, guys. Let's start with these promos. All right, first we got teespring.com/stores/unwrapped. Here's your OG unwrapped gear. I have some of that. New unwrapped gear, I'm going to buy some of that. I got some Friends unwrapped gear as well. I got some pants. I got some more I like those blue joggers. I might have to give me some of those. LeBron fans, he'll be back. Don't worry. You get Anthony Davis back today, Laker Nation. So congratulations. You get him back tonight against Dallas. And some more unwrapped gear. I have that sticker. Some more unwrapped gear, of course. Live lineup gear. I have my Ladies First mug right here. It is so beautiful. She's gorgeous. And then we got fights. We got Generational Z, Fourth Man Pod, the People's XFL Show. Of course, Ladies First, Saturday Standouts, Backstop Banter, which goes on an hour after me. Well, 2 hours after I start, but an hour after me. And then we got Business Casual Basketball. Aaron went at around noon today. We got Keeping It Blunt, the Prop Bros, and a Long Ball Lounge, which is going on right after me. So Jesse has a special guest. It's Josh. Josh used to be a part of the network, but that will be his special guest tonight. But this is all the live lineup gear. Go check that out, guys, at teespring.com/stores/unwrapped. Also, we have all your betting needs. A lot of betting should be going on right now because there's a lot of things going on right now. Baseball's in full swing. We got basketball. We got golf, of course. A lot of things going on. This is live right now. Those live money lines just went up or down. We got UFC. Okay, guys, my computer is getting ready to die. Where is my charger? Pausing the show real quick, guys. Gotta go get my charger. Hold on just 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I had no idea my computer was getting ready to die. So we got UFC fighting. It seems like it's a UFC fight every weekend. We got the NHL, Professional League Soccer. All of this stuff, you guys, you can bet on mybookie.ag. Use the code US100 to double your first deposit. Sore, achy muscles. I've been working out a lot lately, and I have put my order in. I have put my order in on rxhemp.com because your 30s are not kind to you at times. Shout out to Corey. He just got another professional league contract. He's in his 30s. I made a little joke in the group message saying, congratulations, old man. Listen, I'm pretty sure he has some of this too overseas. Listen, I want to play basketball as much as possible, right? I want to really achieve that goal. But sometimes your body is saying one thing and your mind is saying another. So I had to get on rxhemp.com and get me some stuff. When I get it in, I'll show you guys what I got. But check out rxhemp.com. Use the code rxhemp/USN to get 10% off of your entire order. Warming Cool Therapy. Get you some of this, guys. I got some samples and I got this. I will pay attention to the dosage. I know it's going to kick in, so I will not continue to rub more on. We got Celebrity Believers. It's made with all natural products. Guys, go ahead and get you some of this cream. I will be using it quite frequently as it is becoming warmer outside and I want to work out more. I have to listen to my body, but I also have to medicate and make sure that I'm taking care of myself properly in my 30s. So rxhemp.com, use the code rxhemp/USN to get 10% off of your entire order. Thank you, Perry. I appreciate it. He's been working like crazy lately. That is Perry. He is part of the Unwrapped Sports Network. He is the founder of the Unwrapped Sports Network. If anybody could understand about getting older and more well seasoned, it is Perry. Thank you, Perry, for understanding the pains that we go through when we get older and we're not as quick to bounce back off of our feet as we used to be. All right, last but not least, we have Patreon. Join the Patreon, guys. Support the Unwrapped Sports Network. $1 a month, you become a fan. $5 a month, you become part of the family and get all these cool perks. $10 a month, you become VIP. There was a Keenan Allen jersey. There was a David Montgomery jersey signed. Both of them signed. Now we have a Ricky Williams helmet signed that we're giving away this month. If you're a part of the $10 a month VIP, then you are in a running for that helmet. Guys, we really appreciate any type of support you can give us. We have just started this. It's been a couple of months, so we have a long way to go, but we can get there and achieve our goals. But check us out, patreon.com/unwrappedsports, and be a part of the family. Perry is older. We're well seasoned. I call myself older and well seasoned as well. I feel like after you hit 30 years, you hit a certain type of extra gear. You know what I mean? You hit an extra gear. I am not looking forward to 40, but we're older. We are older. We have some young bucks that are part of the Unwrapped Sports Network, and then we have we're part of the older crowd. And that's okay. We've embraced it. Perry has embraced it. I have embraced it. Michael has embraced it. You have embraced it. We've all embraced getting older and getting more well-seasoned. And I'm pretty sure Perry can agree with me. We're just older, more well-seasoned. Yeah, I'm hoping so too. I hope that my gear can kick in at 40. That 30-year-old gear was a little different. My body started responding differently to certain things. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm not ready for this. Like, I am not ready. So 40, can we bounce back at 40? Is there any way I can bounce back from 30 to 40? Can we just bounce back? Can 40 be the new 20? I'm just saying. Jay-Z said 30 is the new 20. No. I need 40 to be the new 20 because 30, it was okay. It was okay. But Garrett, we're going to be great regardless, right? Regardless of age, we're going to always be great. All right. For my rant of the day, to explain to you guys why there was almost not a show today. I have Twitter. That is my news outlet. It's a lot of people's news outlets at my age. I don't have Facebook. I don't have Instagram. I don't have Snapchat, TikTok. All I have is Twitter. My Twitter timeline is very versatile. It's very versatile. I get financial advice. I get politics on there, of course. I get sports. I get law advice. I have a very diverse following and a very diverse timeline. Love it. I wake up and I read Twitter like it's the morning paper. A lot of us do. I think I retweeted that. Somebody put out, like, I read Twitter like it's USA Today. And Really, it is. With that being said, there's a lot that went on this week. A lot. It was a lot to take in. Social media can be a lot to take in. And there were things that happened this week that the cycle keeps repeating itself. I know my mom used to say, oh, times are just repeating themselves, and they are. We live in a world today where there's so much hate and not enough love. Not enough love, too much hate. Not enough respect, too much disrespect. It's tough. It's tough to live today. I know my ancestors would tell me different. I saw a t-shirt on Twitter as well that said, I am not my ancestors, which is true. I'm not my ancestors. Time has evolved. Yes. Social media brings a lot of things to light. If we did not have social media, I wonder how much we would know. If this was, I won't say 10 years ago. Well, I will say 10 years ago because everybody had a camera. Well, no, I won't say 10. I'll say 15 years ago. So this is 2021. If this was 2006, about 2000. Yeah, 2006 is which is when I graduated high school. I just told y'all my age. Shh, don't tell anybody. If this was 2006, a lot of the things that happened, we wouldn't know about. I saw something on Twitter as well that said, if it wasn't recorded, would we know? There have probably been so many cover-ups of things that have happened because there was no camera present. Everybody brings out a camera no matter where you're at. If something happens, say for instance, if you're in line at Chipotle, because I was most recently in line at Chipotle and the line was long. If someone starts arguing because everybody's on their phones, waiting for the line to move, the line was ridiculously long because it was lunchtime. If there was an argument broken out in Chipotle about something, I guarantee you at least 5 people in Chipotle would record it, at least. And it's going up on social media like that. So with that being said, why do people keep behaving the way that they do, knowing that they are probably being recorded? I will never understand it. I will never get the hate that's in people's hearts. I know it starts back from before I was born, before my mom was born, my grandparents were born, my great-grandparents were born. United States is full the world. I'm not going to say United. I live in the United States, so I'm going to say the United States. It's full of hate. Full of hate. People might hate you because you don't have as much money as them. People might hate you because you look different. People might hate you because you're a dog lover and not a cat lover. It could be the smallest things that people just hate you about. And I'm just not quite understanding that. I don't get it. I don't get why everyone can't love and respect one another. I will never understand it. I just don't. I love and respect humans. Sometimes humanity takes over in certain situations. Sometimes it doesn't. Humanity can be a very tricky subject. But my rant today is just, I saw what Brett Favre said about the George Floyd and the guy that went away for killing George Floyd on all 3 counts. I saw what he said today, and I just put my palm in my forehead. And he needs not to talk. When it comes to anything racial, he is from Mississippi. He's a white man from Mississippi, first of all, so I was not surprised. Secondly, he just puts his foot in his mouth when it comes to racial issues every single time. Brett Favre, don't say anything. I could probably say that about a lot of people on Twitter. I could probably say that about a lot of people in my group chat. I just choose not to respond. I've seen things this week, and it spun my head around. I was just like, what? How do you say that? How do you do that? The Las Vegas Raiders making that post. What? Are you serious? And I could have said something about that. I just chose not to. Brett Favre. Well, I saw what Brett Favre said. I could have said something about that. I chose not to. There have been instances, Drew Brees, when he said what he said. What was it? Who, Joey or Nick Bosa? Whichever one of those Bosa boys said what they said. Sometimes your opinion is just not needed. If you know that you're going to say something foul or going to say something that's very tone deaf, just don't say anything at all. I just rather you just not say anything. But people feel a need to give their opinion. That's fine. That's okay. Everybody's opinion is different. Some people have the same opinion, some people don't. But Brett Favre has given his opinion about racial issues before, and he's just stuck his foot in his mouth. Brett Favre, just don't say anything else. Just avoid the question as much as possible. Reporters, quit asking him about it because you know what his answer is going to be. You know he's going to get dragged on social media for it. Just, if you don't understand something, ask questions. And like I said, he's a 50-year-old white man, 50-year-old white man from Mississippi. I am not surprised. I'm not surprised by his responses about racial issues. It is what it is. But if you don't understand something about someone's race, ethnicity, religion, their spiritual journey, ask questions. We're all here to learn. I'm learning daily. I learn something new every day, and I love that. I love that I can constantly learn. Some people do not want to learn constantly. If you do not want to learn constantly, you will always be left behind. You will always be left behind. You are supposed to constantly be learning, constantly challenging yourself to become a better person. If you cannot do that, you will be left behind. The world is moving too fast, too quickly, too progressively for people to be stuck in the 2010s or stuck in the 2000s or stuck in the 90s, the 80s, etc. You have to move with the times. You have to stay current. That's the only way that you're going to be able to prosper in life, is to grow and make progress and understand what other people are going through and understand what people are saying when they say we're hurt or we're tired, because you never know who you might need. You never know who your kids might marry. How do I say this? Your kids might marry someone of a different race, and now you have to understand what he or she goes through on a daily basis. So that love and respect thing, it goes both ways. Of course, it goes both ways. But we need to learn how to love and respect one another as a whole. I count on humanity to be better. Okay, guys, we can be better. It just seems like it's getting worse. This week was a rough week. This week was rough. Yes, they found him guilty on all 3 charges, but 1 out of or 3 out of, and people are holding their breath still like, okay, can I have some relief? No, because sentencing is coming up. And then the other 3 guys, I think they are going through trial in August, I believe. So people are still like, okay, when can I just release and let go? And we don't know if we're ever going to be able to release and let go. Be talking to you. Come back. Okay, here we go. It's systematic. So it's been happening since, like I said, before I was born, my great grandparents were born. It's embedded in the system. And we all want change. Not everybody wants change. Let me say that. Not everybody wants change. But most of us want change. And in order to see change, we need to have progress. You need to move with the times. Times are different. Like the shirt said, I am not my ancestors, and I am not. Let me get that out the way. I might not say how I feel, But just know that I feel some type of way. And sometimes I'll speak up if it's appropriate, and sometimes I won't. Sometimes I don't need to speak up. Somebody else will speak up, which is great. But long as it isn't directed towards me, then most of the time I'm like, okay. But once I feel it's directed towards me, that's when I get a little antsy. But there are sensitive subjects that people don't like to touch on: race, religion, spirituality, financial situations, sexuality. There's a lot of things that people don't like to talk about, especially in the workplace. There are rules in the workplace where you're not supposed to talk about certain things, but people talk about them anyway, because everyone's going to have an opinion. I respect everyone's opinion. I might not agree with how you feel, but I respect you because I'm put on this earth to love and respect the next person. Love thy neighbor as you love thyself. So that's what I'm put on this earth to do. I might not agree with you. You might have done something to me and I have to forgive you, but I will respect you at the end of the day. That's my rant, guys. I'm going to give prayers out. I'm going to send prayers out at the end of the show. But I just had to get that off my chest that it was almost not a show this week because I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. I didn't know how I felt. And I was like, oh, yeah, the WNBA schedule came out, so I could talk about that. Training camp rosters. I want to talk about those, but I don't think I'm going to be able to because NFL draft starts next Thursday and there will not be a show because I'll be watching the NFL draft. Speaking of NFL drafts, the Amber Sports Network did an NFL mock draft. I was not able to participate in that this year. I am sorry, guys. I did the one last year and it was like 6 or 7 hours. This year, 3.5. Good job, guys. Good job, because last year's mock draft was long. It was very, very long. If you have not checked out the Unwrapped Sports Network mock draft, check that out on the Unwrapped Sports Network YouTube page. It should be right there on the YouTube page. You have to go through a couple of shows because we've had shows today. We had shows yesterday, but it is on there. It's about 3.5 hours long. Go check that out. Great work, guys. I really appreciate you putting that together. There will be an NBA mock draft, of course. And I'm going to be the head of that because I'm the head of the NBA department. So there will be an NBA mock draft. That is this summer because the draft isn't till July. So that will be later on this summer. We're going to get that together. That's going to be fun. But today, we're going to talk about the WNBA schedule just a little bit. It won't be a long show. I'm already 22 minutes in, and I say that every single time. But Jesse and Josh have to go on after me. So let's talk about this schedule, and let's look at it. Sidebar, I will be getting League Pass for the WNBA because I will need to be watching all of these games as much as possible. So here's League. I wonder how I get League Pass because I have NBA TV and I had NBA League Pass, but I got rid of it. But I need to figure out how to get League Pass for WNBA. Games start in 3 weeks, looks like. Yep. Games start in 3 weeks. I'm looking at my phone. It was April 22nd. I think every team has released their training camp rosters. I don't have time to go through those tonight. I wish I did. But by the time there's a show next week, I will talk about the rosters. I'm going to talk about the rosters. I'm going to talk about the NFL draft as well because there will not be a show next week because the draft is next week and I'll be watching that. I thought about going on earlier, but Aaron goes on earlier. And I was like, and I'll just take next week off. But it kicks off on a Friday night, May 14th. May 14th, we get 4 games. 4 games on May 14th. I am super duper duper excited. Oh my goodness. I'm gushing with excitement. I really, really am. So we get Indiana, New York. I want to tell a story at the end of this show about Sabrina Ionescu. I hope I said her name right. Ionescu's dad. I saw a story on Twitter and I thought it was so neat. She's back from her ankle injury. Indiana Fever had a surprise number 4 pick. I'll be watching them because Danielle Robinson played for the University of Oklahoma, and she is now with the Indiana Fever. Kelsey Mitchell. I'm excited about that team this year. Atlanta's going to have the littest backcourt in the WNBA when you got Ari McDonald, they just drafted. You got Courtney Williams. You got Kennedy Carter. And then you have Tiffany Hayes coming back. They will have the most exciting backcourt in the WNBA, and they're going to be playing against the Connecticut Sun. I think Alyssa Thomas is out for the year. I think she tore her Achilles. I want to say that she's out for the season, but they will be playing Connecticut, and that will be exciting to watch. Courtney Williams is going up against her old team that she was pretty much their catalyst to the finals in 2019 when they lost to the Washington Mystics. I like they did that rematch, and they ended up releasing her. I don't know why they released Courtney Williams, and Atlanta picked her right up. So that's going to be fun to watch. Phoenix and Minnesota. Minnesota reloaded. That's going to be interesting to watch because they did reload and they did have a pretty good draft. And Phoenix, Diana Taurasi, I wonder how many more years she will play. Their jerseys are amazing. I love the Phoenix jerseys. They're one of my favorites. They're selling out these jerseys like hotcakes, and I can't get one. I need a restock. Just like the hoodies. I wore my WNBA hoodie yesterday because it was a little chilly outside. It took me 3 tries to get a WNBA hoodie, and I finally got one. So I need restocks on these jerseys because I have to get a DT jersey. Okay, I have to get a DT jersey. I love the way Phoenix did their jerseys. They'll be playing against Minnesota, Cheryl Reeve. That Minnesota team is scary. I talked about the acquisitions for the Minnesota Lynx. That would be scary. That's going to be a very scary team this year. I look for them to make some noise. They had a disappointing end to their season last year, but I look for them to make some noise. We'll see what Brittany Griner and DT and Skylar Diggins can do there in Phoenix. The Dallas Wings, they have so many guards. I looked at their training camp roster, They have a lot of guards, and I'm trying to figure out who's going to make it on the team and who's not. They did draft Dana Evans in the second round. They did draft Chelsea Dungy in the first round. So, and then, of course, they have the number 1 overall pick in Charlie Collier. They had the number 2 overall pick. They had a number 5 pick. And then they got Dana Evans in the second round. Dana Evans was a first-round talent. To me, she got picked in the second round. She's going to have a lot to prove, I believe. They took Chelsea Dungy high. I think she'll probably have a lot to prove. And then, of course, Charlie Collier, number 1 overall pick. And they got a walk. They got her second. So, making that Dallas Wings team will be tough. That's going to be very, very tough. I'm interested to see what guards make it and which guards don't after looking at their training camp roster. Los Angeles Sparks will look a lot different this year without Candace Parker. But Simone Augustus resigned. Chelsea Gray is no longer there. She's now in Las Vegas. You get both Agumlake sisters back. So the Sparks look a little different. They look a little different without Candace Parker. Candace Parker was there for 13 years, but she is now playing for her hometown team in Chicago. Speaking of Chicago, they play on May 15th. Saturday, you get 2 games. You get Chicago and Washington, Vegas and Seattle. This is a finals rematch. Both of these teams were in the WNBA finals last year in the Wubble. Seattle prevailed. I expect Chicago to go to the finals. They just signed Lexi Brown. Shout out to you, Lexi Brown. She got released, and then Chicago signed her. You got Candace Parker. Chicago really had a really good season last year. They kind of tailed off a little bit in the Wubble, just a little bit. But I think they had a disappointing end to their season as well. I think them and Minnesota had 2 different disappointing ends to their seasons. I think they'll come back strong. They'll bounce back. I expect for them to have one of the top 3 or 4 records in the WNBA. If you guys do not know, the WNBA got rid of conferences. So it is the top 8 teams, unless they've changed it. They've changed it, guys. Then I'll let you know. But the top top 8 teams go. Their playoff format is a little different. I talked about it before. I kind of blundered it the first time because I was like, wait a minute. And then I looked at it. I was like, okay, this is how their playoff format is. Their playoff format is different from the NBA's, even though the NBA has a play-in game. The WNBA kind of has something like that, similar to that. But with the way they do things, they got rid of conferences, which I think the NBA should do. The NBA should just let the top 16 teams go and boom. The WNBA, the top 8 teams go, and that's it. That is it. There's no play-in. There are only 12 teams anyway. We need expansion. We've already talked about that. Everybody talks about that on Twitter. Expansion is much needed for the WNBA in order for the league to grow. I think it's grown to a point where expansion should happen in the next 2 or 3 years. I expect 4 more teams in the next 4 years. I really do. I think some of these NBA players are going to start thinking about investing in women and supporting women because they're going to games. They're having daughters, and they want to see their daughters playing in WNBA someday. I know Kobe Bryant probably would have gotten a WNBA team in the future. I really think that he probably would have did that. But this game will be a great game. Let's see if Washington can get back to their championship ways. A lot of women for the Mystics chose to sit out. Natasha Cloud sit out because she was doing social justice movement. Come on, Amber. Social justice movement. She sit out. Elle Deladon sit out as well. Tina Charles sit out. So Washington's going to come back and they're going to be fully loaded and they're going to come back. This is a great game. First game for these two teams. A great first game. Finals rematch from last year. The Las Vegas Aces look different. Kelsey Plum is coming back from injury. They no longer have key players. Dan Robinson has moved on. So Jackie Young will have a bigger role, of course. They will look a little different. But I think Bill Laimbeer can get them to kind of play that same style. I'm looking forward to that same up and down style with Asia Wilson in the middle. They took a little hit, losing some players, but I think they can kind of play that same style that they're used to playing. Seattle, oh man, the reigning champ, Sue Bird resigned. How long will she play? That is very, very interesting. She's still ticking, man. She is aging like fine wine. Her and Donna Taurasi and Candace Parker, they're just aging like fine wine. Candice Dupree is the same way. She's aging like fine wine as well. Sylvia Fowles, Simone Augustus. A lot of older players are still in the league. Dan Robinson's an older player. She's still in the league. So Seattle will look different. Should they be the favorites? I wonder, should Seattle be the favorites? They are the reigning champs. Brandon Stewart is back again after winning another EuroLeague championship. She just keeps on winning. Brandon Stewart is just a winner in all facets of her life. She came back strong from that Achilles tear and played at the MVP level last year. And then she won finals MVP, of course. And then they won the national championship. They won the WNBA championship, although she has quite a few national titles with the UConn Huskies. All right, all those teams, is that every team? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so 4 games on Saturday to kick it off. 4 games on Friday to kick it off, 2 games on Saturday. So that would be, by the time Sunday comes around, all of the teams have played. Now, I'm interested to see who has back-to-backs and who doesn't. I don't know how they're going to do their schedule with the WNBA. I will let you guys know because, the NBA has compacted their schedule. Now, the WNBA will have a break. I'm sorry for your eyes, guys. I'm going to scroll through here real quick. They're going to have their Olympic break. Let's see. In July, they'll have their Olympic break. When is it happening? Here it is. So July 11th will be the last day of games before their Olympic break. Ooh, and we get some good ones. Yes. Okay. Ooh, yes, we get some good ones. Okay, all right, we get some good ones to end it. And they don't come back until August 15th. So they'll have the Olympic break. And then August 15th, we get 6 games. So every team in the league will play Sunday, August 15th. Uh, one team will play on Saturday, July 10th, and then the rest of the teams will play July 11th, Olympic break, and then the games resume. So this is some good rest. So these WNBA players, like I told you guys before, they don't get much rest. They go from the WNBA season to EuroLeague, back to the States for training camp, WNBA season, EuroLeague, back to the States for camp. It's such a gruesome schedule. And if they're playing in the Olympics, it's even more gruesome. It's even more gruesome because they'll be playing against international competition, of course. Women's basketball for the U.S. has dominated international competition for a long time. But I do think the international competition has stepped up. If you guys did not know, I showed you guys the draft and showed you how many international players were taken. Let me show you the draft, guys. I'm going to show you the draft. Will it show it to me, I wonder? Okay, here we go. Here's the draft, guys. I'm going to show you how many international players were taken. 1, 2, 3 in the first round, I believe. Yes, 3 in the first round. In the second round, we had, that's 4. All right, we have 1 in the second round. Am I right? Yes, we have 1 in the second round. So that's 4 so far. 5, 6. You can say, I won't count that. So we had 6. Well, you could say 7, I guess. You could take 7. Lafayette. So there were 7 or 8, 9. Lafayette and Townsend, 8, 9. There were a lot of international players taken. I think that's 9 out of the 36 picks. And I talked about that before. I talked about that before. Now, key dates. Here are some key dates, guys. Training camp is going to begin this weekend. Preseason begins May 1st. Last possible date for preseason games, May 11th. May 13th is the final cut down to 12 players. So I think I'm going to show you guys a roster. I'm going to show you guys a roster real quick, and then I'm going to get off of here. That's the Olympic break, but these are key dates. The second half begins. This is the trade deadline. I think the trade deadline is going to be very interesting this season. Last day of the regular season. The playoffs start September. Last possible finals date is October 19th. All dates are subject to change, of course, with the coronavirus still in full swing, but people are getting vaccinated. Yes, these things can change. Now, training camp starts, today's the 22nd, so it starts on Sunday. Training camp starts Sunday. I want to look at a roster. Let's look at rosters real quick. I think Dallas has their training camp roster available. Okay, guys, this is Dallas's training camp roster that they're going to have to cut to 12. I talked about their picks. Number 1 overall pick. I'm assuming she's going to make it. Chelsea Dungy, number 5 overall pick in the first round. Will she make the squad? Dana Evans, first round talent. Second round pick. They got Dee Givens. They signed her. It's like they signed her. She was the second overall pick. Awak. Will she make the squad? So it's tough to say. It's tough to say because they already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they have 10 players. They have to cut this to 12. So I'm assuming, just assumptions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players for 2 roster spots. 7 players for 2 roster spots. The WNBA is so cutthroat. Now, there could be some old heads that are already on the roster that might not make it. That is a strong possibility. Do I think the number 1 overall seed will make the roster? Yes. If she does not, I think that will probably be the first time in WNBA history the number 1 overall pick, not seed, number 1 overall pick did not make the roster. I'm still in NCAA mode, guys. I'm kind of still in NCAA mode, excuse me. But it'll probably be the first time in WNBA history the number 1 overall pick doesn't make a roster. I'm assuming Charlie Carly will make it. I think Chelsea Dungy, Dana Evans, D Givens, Tori, I don't want to butcher that last name. I'm sorry, I just don't want to butcher it. Awak Collier, Amy, and Destiny will all be fighting for that last spot. And that's going to be tough. That is going to be tough because I am just going to assume, that Charlie Collier is probably going to be their starting center. I'm just banking on that. I think she's going to be their starting center. Enrique is going to be one of their starting guards. I think Mariah Jefferson will probably be their starting point guard. Assuming. This is all assumptions. This is tough. She's your starting forward. So starter, probably Mariah Jefferson at your point, Enrique at your 2. She's going to be at your forward. Charlie Cartier is going to be at your 5. Who is going to be at your 4 or your 3? This is interesting. Could they go with a 3-guard lineup? With Alicia Gray? Okay, Alicia Gray is probably going to be your other 4. So we're going to have Alicia Gray, Enrique, and Mariah Jefferson. I'm going to assume that's going to be your 3. And then you'll have Satu. Hope I said her name right. I'm working on names. And Charlie Collier will be your 5. So Charlie Collier will make the team. She will probably be your starting center. Now, where does Chelsea Dungy, Dana Evans, D Givens, and all the rest of these rookies fit in? Right? Where do the rest of the rookies fit in? Because you have 7 rookies fighting for 2 spots. Essentially, unless you cut some vets. Let's say Chelsea Dungy and Dana Evans show out in camp and you have to cut 2 guards. That's very possible. So WNBA is very, very cutthroat. Very, very cutthroat. Let me look. I'm going to look at this. I kind of want to look at their 2020 schedule. And I want to see who started for them last year. I know the team is different, more than likely. Let's see. All right. So last year, she's no longer there. She is still there. All right. So last season, okay, Lou Samuelson is not there either. Okay, I was right about 1, 2, 3. I was correct about 3 of the starters. She's no longer there. Lou Samuelson was getting minutes. She's no longer there. Alicia Gray is there. This game, she didn't get minutes, and she did not get minutes. So, I think that Charlie Collier will replace her, and this Isabel Harrison will probably still be your starting forward, more than likely. These starters will probably stay the same. Now, where do those other guards fit in? What do those other guards fit in for Dallas? I'm wondering. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so 12 people on the roster. So this is the first game of the season in the Wubble on July 26th. And those were their starters. Let me look down the roster. Let me look towards the end of the season and see what they had. Let's look and see if the box score looks a little different. All right. Okay, see, it looks different now. It looks a little different. I don't think she played. Because they were starters at the beginning of the season. I don't think Gray played either. Katie Lou Samuelson was a starter. Enrique was a starter. So they kind of changed it up. They switched it up a little bit. I don't think these players were healthy because they were your starters at the beginning of the year. So they might not have been healthy. But I showed you guys that to just show you how cutthroat the WNBA is. And they have to get that down to 12. What date it's at? They have to get that down to 12 by May 13th. So in 3 weeks, they have to get that down to 12. That means you have 19 days to show that you belong on a WNBA roster. Now, just because you don't make a roster does not mean that you won't get picked up by someone else. But it is very cutthroat. Very, very cutthroat. Spicy Queso. Thank you, Matt, for joining on YouTube. I am doing well. How are you? It's been a rough week, but I've made it through. I made it through the show as well. Gave you guys some key WNBA dates. Gave you guys the schedule. The first 2 days are going to be amazing. I am getting not NBA League Pass, but WNBA League Pass. I'll be getting League Pass for sure. Because Nick, I don't want to tell you guys just yet. I don't want to. I kind of already spilled the beans on Count the Bucket, but I don't want to tell you guys. I have something exciting that I'm getting ready to do, but with Lamar and Nick. But I think I'll wait to tell you guys about that. Oh, what the heck. I'll tell you guys anyway. So Lamar reached out to me. He said, yo, I think we should do a WNBA show. And he said that Nick was already down. So me and Lamar and Nick are probably going to be starting a WNBA show. Yes, Michael, I know, another show on my resume. I get it, Michael. I get it. He always talks about how many shows I do, but I understand. I get it. Okay, Michael, I get it. But we'll be starting a WNBA show, which I'm very excited about. So since I'll have an NBA show, a WNBA show, Ladies First is going to probably have to touch on different topics. I don't like to repeat myself. That's why I don't give you guys a lot of NBA news on here, because I have Count the Bucket for that. When Lamar, Nick, and I start the WNBA show, I will give you some WNBA stuff. But since I'll be talking about that with them, I won't repeat myself. I don't have a football show. So I'll be talking football. I'll talk basketball, of course. But I'll talk about different things. I'll try to keep this show as versatile as possible. All right, let's close the night out and let's talk about our sponsors. RxHemp.com. Use the code RxHemp/USN to get 10% off of your entire order. Warm and cool CBD cream therapy made with all natural products and celebrity believers. Check out RxHemp.com. Use the code RxHemp to get 10% off of your entire order. Also, it didn't work the way it was supposed to work. All right. Here we are. Join the Patreon, guys. Patreon.com/UnwrapSports. $1, you become a fan. Support the Unwrap Sports Network. $5 a month, become part of the family and get all these cool perks. $10 a month, you'll be part of the VIP. And you get all these perks plus an autographed memorabilia something. It's a helmet this month for Ricky Williams. We had 2 jerseys. Perry's always coming up with something. Corey has this crazy, insane collection of autographed things. So something will be autographed. There will be something special there for those VIP members. Help us out, guys. Patreon.com/UnwrapSports. All right. And then we have the shop, of course. We have teespring.com/stores/unwrap. Let me scroll to the top. Got the OG stuff, the new logo stuff. the Friends stuff, some more stuff, LeBron stuff. Anthony Davis is back tonight, guys. If you did not know, they will be playing Dallas on TNT. All the live lineup has gear. Go check this out. I have my mug here, my coffee mug that I call a water jug because that's what I drink out of it. Yes, I'll be wearing my ladies' first shirt tomorrow. I'll wear my national women's hoodie, sports hoodie today. Saturday standouts, backstop banter goes on at 9 my time, which is Central, and 10 Eastern. Business casual basketball, which usually goes around about 4:30. But he went at noon today, keeping it blunt. The Prop Bros and the Long Ball Lounge, which is going on in about 6 minutes. So I need to hurry up and get done with this. Guys, check this out. The Unwrapped Sports Network store on teespring.com/store/unwrapped. All right, the last promo of the night, mybookie.ag. Use the code USN100 to double your first deposit. The Academy Awards has, goodness, there's so much on here, guys. So much on here you can bet on. Oh, man. You can win a lot of money and you can lose a lot of money. So be careful. Check out mybookie.ag. Use the code USN100 to double your first deposit. Okay, guys, there will not be a show next week. The NFL draft is next week. So I will talk about the NFL draft the following week, which will be May, I think, 6th. So I won't be back till May 6th. I appreciate you guys for letting me rant. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, looking at the WNBA schedule. I will keep you updated about that show with Lamar, Nick, and I. I will keep you guys updated. But Count the Bucket will be going on Saturday. We're going to talk about some interesting stuff on Count the Bucket. Steph said he should be MVP. I'm not disagreeing. We talked about that a little bit last week. The playoff standings are ramping up as well. The MVP conversation is heating up. Injuries. Guys are coming back from injuries. There were injuries last night. Goodness grief. So we're going to touch on some things. We're going to touch on some things on Count the Bucket. Michael and I will. And it's going to be a great show. But until May 6th, NFL draft, I'll be watching that. Won't be an NFL draft. But until May 6th, I will see you guys later.